Monday, May 14th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I'm going to look at the markets this morning. To me, having looked at some of the charts just before I did this video, like at the bond markets, the yields, the stock market, gold, the currencies, we seem to be kind of nowhere. Not much direction, a lot of consolidation. Short term, of course, there are big moves up and down, but since the beginning of the year, we're kind of going nowhere. But I still think the 10-year yield and the yield curve is still quite important to look at, despite comments from people like Jamie Dimon about a week ago. He said the U.S. economy was really strong and that even a 4% 10-year yield would be a signal of a strong economy. I tend to disagree with him, and I think that's one of the problems why we get crisis out of the blue, because we get people like Jamie Dimon, like the Federal Reserve, like politicians saying that everything's fine, and it gives the wrong signals to, how can I say, to consumers, to business, even to treasury departments. They kind of get a false scenario of what's really going on, and that leads to malinvestments, as the Austrian school talks about. So it's 8:36 a.m. So where are we this morning? Spot gold, 1320.50, up $2.30. Range has been 1317.50 to 1322.64. Silver 1670, up 6 cents. So outperforming gold a little bit. 1675 the high, 1662 the low. The Dow up another 118 points, or almost 0.5%. I'll look at some charts later on about the stock market, gold, the yield curve. S&P is up 10 points, up just under 0.4%, 27.37. NASDAQ 100 future up 23, or 1/3%. Currency-wise, we're seeing the dollar looks like it's topped short term a little bit. So we're continuing to see the currency strengthen a bit. The pound is up 0.25% at 135.75. The euro is 119.70, up 1/4 as well. So it looks like they're managing the currencies quite well. I think Lindsey Williams always, he had an interview with a guy who worked with the major banks, people like the BIS and IMF, a guy called Jonathan May. And he said that the major currencies are always managed. Of course, there are sometimes big moves, but they call them the hard currencies. So dollar a little stronger against the yen, 109.52, up 0.14%. What about the yuan, the Chinese currency? Well, the dollar is down again against the yuan, but not much, just under 0.1%. 10-year yield. This morning we're at 297, the 10-year yield. The 2-year yield is still 253. So that has still remained fairly elevated. And as I said, let's look at some charts now. And before I go into the charts, I'll actually talk about the U.S. Treasury, the average maturity of total outstanding Treasury marketable securities. And this is from the horse's mouth. This is from the U.S. Treasury Department. And this is the average. So right now, the average maturity of U.S. Treasuries marketable securities is 68.8 months. So just under 6 years. So you can see that after the crisis, the average maturity was less than 50 months, and it's been rising and rising and rising. And why has the Treasury done that? Well, it's to by lengthening the maturity, that means that they don't have to roll over the debt as many times as they need. But at the same time, it makes the treasury susceptible to a move higher in interest rates. Moves higher in interest rates usually hurt the longer end more, because the duration, how can I say, a 10-year yield, a 10-year bond will move more than a 2-year bond or a 2-year note, because it's riskier. So yes, it helps the treasury, so they don't have to keep rolling over short-term debt. If interest rates go up, gives them more time. But at the same time, when they do have to roll over longer-term debt, it's at higher cost. So just keep that in mind. If we go through this 3%, it could get the cost for the U.S. Treasury will accelerate. So let's have a look at the Dow. So I've done a little Fibonacci or retracement analysis, and one thing is well about the Dow. If you go back to the end of the year 2017, the Dow closed at 24,719, and on Friday it finally closed up for the year. So that's where it closed at 24,831. So it's just into positive territory. If you take the all-time high, 26,616, and the low this year, around 24,344 it was. I couldn't get it on the chart. It did 24,341, but that's close enough. The 50% retracement is 24,978. So 25,000 looks like a very important level, not only because it's a round figure, 25,000, but it's also the 50% retracement of the move we've had this year. And a lot of times the 50% is quite important. Of course, the 61.8 and the 38.2 are important as well. So right now, yeah, we're 24,942, so we're very close to that level. It looks like the market wants to test that. Will it succeed in going through that and then retesting the all-time highs? It could, because right now it looks like we formed a double bottom, and the midpoint is 24,858. So we could see a move of let's say 1,000 points at least from there. 25. We could get very close to the all-time highs. Personally, I think that will be the high for a long time to come. Dollar index. As I said, dollar index, yeah, we broke out towards the end of April, topped a few days ago, and it looks like it's trading back lower now. So that's the dollar index. Gold, let's have a look at gold. Gold as well, that 13, just above 1300, 1302, very good support. And then I wanted to see, just like the Dow today, I looked, where did gold close, at the end of last year? And lo and behold, the close for gold last year was 1302.22. So that seems to be a really good support, the close of gold last year. In British pounds as well, gold has continued to do very well. We've been trading in the range for most of the year, at least since the end of January, between like 935 and 960, and now we've broken out of that range. We're at 972. Key level there is going to be 980 now for gold XAU GBP. And also the gold silver ratio. I've spoken about it recently as well. This is a chart going back to 2007 or thereabouts, and it looks like it's topped here, and it's a very elevated level. What does that mean? That means that we should continue to see precious metals do well and silver outperform. Of course, yeah, this is like where we are in terms of the bell curve. It's at extremes, so I don't think we're going to stay here for that much longer. So that means I do expect silver to outperform. And usually that happens in the precious metals bull market. We just need to be patient. At the moment, we're just consolidating. What else? Anything else? Oh yeah, the yield curve. The US yield curve. So here you go. This is from investing.com. So the blue line is a year ago. So let's go a year ago and look at the 2-year yield. It was 1.3. Now it is at 2.53. So that's gone up 120 basis points, right? The 10-year a year ago was 2.343. Now it's 2.97. So that's gone up about 43 basis points. Sorry, 63 basis points. So the 2-year has gone up a lot quicker than the 10-year, and that's why we're saying the curve is flattening. It hasn't inverted yet, but for the banks, and maybe that's why JP Morgan was talking his book, a steep yield curve is a good thing because they can borrow short and lend long. Inverted yield curve is not good because they can't do that. They can't create as much credit. So that's the situation. Well, just one more chart. The 10-year future. It's a short-term chart, and this chart is the inverse of the yield. So from, you can see here, let's say from beginning of April till the end of April, it dropped quite a bit. So that means the yields were going up. That's when we traded up above 3%. Now it's been consolidating. The futures went up a bit. Now it looks like it's coming back down. So I think we're going to retest 3% and go back above there. We'll have to see what effect that has on the rest of the markets. So just a market talk today. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can also follow me on DTube, which is on the Steemit blockchain. All my DTube videos go on to Steemit anyway. And you can follow me on Twitter as well. And I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.